Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Watch out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no fakes, don't need no phonies, no. Need no snakes, no only homies, down for show. On go. Get a book and get the front end, we load up and roll. I got kids, yeah, I got staff, I make a little need more. I sell records, you sell packs, not on my level, no. I'm a pop star, I'm a rock star, I'm a winner. Think I'm not hard, you smoke rock, hard waste, man, why you dumb? I'm with airline, we on airlines like we on the run. I'm with Tay, girls run up on me, they done. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my. out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no face, don't need no phone.
And we are officially live. Let me get a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me, if everything is fine. I see we have, for example, 1 person here right now. We got 5 likes. People are coming in and out. Guys, today, give me a 1 in the chat, by the way. I also have people, for example, in the Zoom waiting for me. So if you want to join me in the Zoom, feel free to do so. Again, when you are in the Zoom and you're going to talk to me live, you don't have to show your face on YouTube. I see your face to confirm basically you're a real person and you're not trying to troll me or anything crazy, but you don't have to show your face, for example, on YouTube. Now, the topic for today, guys, is going to be why modern women are actually broke. Now, when I say modern women, you know, the first thing you think is basically, hey, Tommy, well, you have women that are basically, they have a lot of money, everything's fine, you can't say this. And by the way, first of all, before I even start this live stream and get started in this topic and just dive deep, and remember, guys, okay, I've spoken to over a few hundred people about the situation, both women and men, and I'm seeing some patterns here, what people are struggling with and all those things right there. Now, the main thing, guys, okay, first of all, this whole live stream is not about bashing women, talking bad about women, or any of those things. This live stream is about money and how to help women with money. And also, when you hear this, and I know, for example, my audience is like around 90% men, if you're hearing this and some of this stuff is basically having a reaction to you, well, take this advice also, because at the end of the day, money does not care who you are, where you're from, or any of that stuff, okay? And on top of that, remember, okay, I was raised by single women. My grandma helped me, have a beautiful sister. Women have been amazing in my life. So again, this live stream right here is not about in any way about bashing women. And the book of the day for today, guys, is going to be 7 Habits of Highly Efficient People. It's a great book, effective people, by the way. And it's a great book. Started reading it today. I'm like 3 hours deep so far, and so far it has been amazing. Now, let's get started, guys, okay? First thing I want to show you guys is this right here. And again, remember, we build this while we fly. So if some things kind of like look kind of weird, it's all right. So this right here, I want to show you guys this just to make sense of it, okay? When I'm talking about modern women, I'm not talking about, for example, oh, the average woman is, no, I'm talking about the average woman is basically broke. You know, I'm not talking about Oprah or Elizabeth Warren or Susie Osman. And by the way, these women right here have done a lot of amazing things. Everyone knows them. We all recognize them for everything they've done. But again, I'm talking about the average woman. You know, not Oprah, not Elizabeth Warren, or for example, Susie Orman. You can't say that because in reality, those women right there are like the 3%, 5%, 10% have done amazing, amazing things. So shout out to them also. But what I'm talking about is basically, guys, the truth. You know, the average woman. The truth is, truth one. The average woman is making right now around $706 per week. And you might say, Tommy, wow, that's not a lot of money. In reality, it's around $2,824 per month. But I do want to remind you guys also, the average millionaire never earns more than $100,000 a year. So a lot of times it's not your income that's the problem, it's what you do with the money when you actually receive it. And in this video, I'm gonna break everything down. On top of that, if you are between the ages of 25 to 34, there is a very likelihood chance, both women and men also, that you have around $42,000 in debt according to statistics. Now, if you break that down and you say, hey, I'm gonna pay this debt off in 10 years at, let's say, 4.5%, in reality, those payments are around $435 just in debt every single month. So imagine, for example, you make like $2,800, but right off the bat, you have like $400 to $600 going straight into somebody else's pocket. That contributes to a lot of people basically being broke. On top of that, more women today are usually gonna be, for example, this is a statistic, okay? It's real. On average, women are getting more degrees than men. And I'm talking about not 2-year degrees. I'm talking about, for example, 4-year degrees. So you have this whole slope right here. I want to show you guys also so you can see everything here. But look at this, guys, okay? You have this slope here from 1940 all the way to 2019. You see the slope, right? The darker blue is basically the women. They're basically getting more degrees than men, which is basically awesome. But again, in this video or in this stream, you're going to find out that basically, hey, that's not the only thing that matters. And by the way, I'm seeing 7 people that are right now connected. Go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat so I know you're here, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think, okay, about this topic. But again, guys, okay, overall, you're seeing this slope where you see people basically getting more degrees, especially women, and that does not relay exactly when it comes to increase in income, increase in wealth, increase in money. And you'll see this, for example, as I continue here. And on top of that, according to statistics, you know, from the 1970s to around 2005, women are less happy than they have been since 1970. And it's strange, you know, when I first read those, like, how is that possible? Well, you know, women today, you know, they have so many amazing things. You know, they have, you know, not everything, but things are a lot more better than they were, for example, in the 1970s. And that's why, guys, I want to break everything down here, okay? Now, the first thing, guys, is, okay, so if you have more women getting more degrees, doing more amazing things, why is that not translating, for example, into more income and more money and everything? Shout out to Troy Walker. Shout out to Frail Boy, Roy. I see you guys in the chat. Shout out to you guys, okay? But overall, education does not translate into more money. And more education does not translate into more money. Let me explain here, okay, guys? What I mean is, on average, you have more PhDs that are basically women than men. But that does not mean they're actually earning more. And this is what it looks like, okay, guys? I want to show you guys this right here in my little PowerPoint here. People think that basically if you get 1 degree, well, that gives you money. So that must mean basically if you get 3 degrees or 2 more degrees, you basically get even more money. It doesn't translate this way, okay? That's not how wealth actually goes. You got to calculate, for example, the ROI when it comes to a degree. I see, for example, a lot of women call me and tell me, I have this degree, I have this right here, I'm gonna get my master's, gonna get my PhD, and I'm asking why? And it's because, well, if I have this, I'll be able to earn more money. But what's the real calculation here? You're talking about, for example, an extra 4 years of school, an extra $40,000 in debt, and now, for example, although you're making extra $10,000 per year on average, maybe a little bit less, but you'll have a bunch of interest being devoted to that income. So it kind of like cancels out a lot of the time. So more education is not going to equal more wealth. And I'm going to dive deep into this topic right here in this live. I see you guys right here. Hey, Tommy, glad I could catch a live, my guy. Manny C, what is up? Shout out to you. If you guys want to join me on the Zoom, feel free to do so. The link is up there. When you join the Zoom, for example, you don't have to show your face, but I have to see your face. That way we can have a conversation. Now, before I get to the 4 truths that I've experienced so far, for example, why modern women are broke, I'm going to go ahead and check the Zoom and see if any of you guys are actually there and have a quick conversation with any of you guys if you guys are actually there. Or let me see, for example, I have one of you guys actually went ahead and scheduled a call. So I'm going to check that, okay? Yeah, so that call is for 4:30. Again, guys, we're building this as we fly, so you know what I mean? So if you guys want to schedule the call, feel free to do so. If you guys want to join me on the Zoom directly, feel free to do so. I see we got 9 concurrent viewers. Welcome to the chat or the stream. Put a 1 in the chat if you're just joining us and leave a like. It helps a lot, okay? Now, here are the 4 examples I want to show you guys basically when it comes to modern women, okay? And again, I love women, all the stuff, you guys know this, okay? Was raised by a single mom. But the first thing is, guys, okay? Number 1, I had this one lady have a conversation with me. Let's just say, for example, this lady is very well educated, has a husband, has an amazing family, has her own business. Everything seems to be going fine. I'm talking about, for example, late 40s, early 50s. But the idea is that she doesn't really have any wealth. So although she has, for example, the new cars, has the house, has the great picture perfect family, in reality, the family doesn't have any wealth whatsoever. Because guess what? The house has a crazy mortgage on it. They had to refinance. The cars are actually financed. The business has a bunch of debt, and the investments are actually very highly leveraged. Now, this means a lot of the times, okay, this is why I say education is great, income is great, but if you don't know exactly what to do with it and you basically over leverage, a lot of the times you end up kind of messing yourself up. So the answer is never lose focus when it comes to what the overall goal is as far as wealth. It doesn't matter, for example, if you have a high income, don't forget, don't fall for this trap, by the way. Women, men, don't care. If you have, for example, an increase in income, don't go ahead and use that increase in income to buy things you can't afford and put them, for example, on payment plans. Don't assume that just because basically you can afford the payment plan, it does not mean you can actually go ahead and afford that asset. For example, buying a luxury vehicle, buying a crazy expensive house, buying, for example, more education for more money, getting more student loan debt. In reality, before you know it, you end up with your increase in income just basically evaporates because you're paying all that money towards debt. So never lose focus on the end goal, which is basically financial freedom. Second conversation that I basically had with a lady. In reality, you know, you have some women, and by the way, guys, the guys that are here on the chat and also the women, let me know, are you guys okay with having, for example, your wife, fiance, girlfriend, just stay at home, take care of the kids, and just not work? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're okay with that, or if you're not okay with that. I want to know. Okay, guys, and by the way, it is looking pretty dark here. No one told me. Let me go ahead and add some light here. There you go. Now we got some light here. But drop a 1 in the chat if you guys don't mind just having a lady just stay in the house, take care of the house and all that stuff, okay? Now, I say this to say this, you know, I get calls about people, you know, women calling me and telling me, Tommy, I'm kind of embarrassed because I just want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I don't want to be looked like as, for example, as a user or any of the things, or just be dependent on somebody else. So I want to make sure I get a degree. You know, I want to get that degree first. So I want to spend that 4 years, 6 years, just for example, in school trying to get the degree. And then I ask, hey, do you plan on using that degree? And the answer a lot of the times is basically, no, I don't plan on using it. I just want to have it just in case. It's very stupid. You know why? Because you're talking about, for example, you're going to get a degree. And by the way, a lot of the times the degree is a trash degree, you know, like the psychologies or the degrees that just basically don't really matter that much and you really won't use or won't be able to actually find a job with it. So the answer is, if you know exactly what you want and you want to have, for example, a job while you're waiting to get married, you got to own your own truth. You can't be embarrassed of saying like, hey, I don't want to just be looked like as a gold digger or whatever. It's not being a gold digger. I think the toughest job ever is being like a mom, because your job doesn't end. It's like a 24/7 job. While, for example, us guys, we go to work, we come back, we're chilling, right? We watching TV, Game of Thrones, whatever it is, okay? But the thing is, you don't want to be afraid of what you really want to do. So if you really just want to be, for example, a housewife, you want to be home, taking care of the kids, you have the guy being the main breadwinner, that's fine. No problem there. Number 3, I want to be independent, but I'm struggling. I see this a lot, not just, for example, with women, but also a lot with guys also. And you know, you have 3 levels here. You have dependency, independence, and then the 3rd level, I'm going to tell you guys in a few seconds here. But overall, guys, okay, everyone has this bad stigma amounts being, for example, dependent. I want to be independent. You know, every single one of us, we're born dependent. If nobody takes care of us, for example, for the first 3 days, we would not be here right now. That's just the honest truth. However, once you do grow up and you're like an adult, maybe, you know, 18 plus or whatever, you don't just want to be dependent anymore. You want to be independent, because, you know, dependent adults often don't have any control over their lives, right? Everything is dependable on anybody else. Anything happens to them, just shift the blame. It's your fault. I'm not successful, blah, 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 blah. But independence is basically, hey, I'm responsible for everything. Everything that happens, I'm responsible for it. Everything's fine. It's all on me. However, independence is also not the greatest thing ever. So what's the 3rd part here? It's not just about being dependent or independent. It's also about being, for example, interdependent. That's why, for example, the book of the day is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Because I learned that from this book today. And it talks about interdependence. What does that mean? It means that, hey, I'm independent, but I can take care of myself. I have my own money. Everything's fine. But I'm also okay with sharing my skills and everything else with other people, and also being dependent on other people, and just basically going and building something that's actually a lot greater. You can't be afraid of being dependent on other people. You have Steve Jobs was dependent on other people to help him with everything. Jeff Bezos, the guy from Amazon, also dependent on other people. Also, Elon Musk, dependent on other people. Also, independence is great, but it will only take you so far. If you really want to reach higher, whether it's, for example, in your marriage, whether it's, for example, in your job or your career, you're going to have, for example, a level of interdependence. It's very important. Guys, drop some questions in the chat, because we're going to take a break in a few minutes. So that way, when I do take a break, I can see your questions and basically answer all your questions and everything like that. Okay, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat. If you guys want to join me on the Zoom, feel free to do so. And by the way, guys, okay, my time for these streams is limited to 2 hours. So that means I'm going to be here with you guys for 2 hours, okay? But also, if for 2 hours I'm finished, for example, I told you the book of the day, we spoke about the topic, I broke everything down. But if there are no questions, for example, I'm just gonna call it a day, because this is right here is entertainment, but it's also all business here. I'm here to help you guys answer your questions, not just to be here and be like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna watch this whole stream while I basically do nothing. I want to deliver value every single day. So if I reach a point of like, hey, no more value, then I'm out, and then we'll start the stream back again tomorrow. But always leave your questions. I want to answer all your questions. Now, here is another scenario, guys. Okay, you also have the women. And I see this a lot, guys, okay? More women than men, I'll be honest here. I've had some calls from the women that basically, they are the passenger to hell. Let me break that down, okay? What does this mean? Tell me, what does this mean to be the passenger to hell? It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But it's that person that's kind of like lazy, and confuse laziness with just, for example, the extreme confidence in one person. This means I have calls from, for example, from women that tell me, my husband is a lot better with money than I am. So I've let him basically take control of our money. So he handles all the money stuff. I don't really handle it. That's his job. That's what he does. Everything's fine, right? But then they call me, now they're, for example, in their 50s, almost 60s, and they're like, Tommy, I'm scared, because I don't know what's going on with our money. I know we make around $100,000 per year, but for a fact, I know we're not going to be able to retire. We still owe a bunch of money, for example, on these cars, on this home. Our kids just left. They're also getting into debt. It just feels like for the past 20 years, while I trusted this person, like I've just been stuck. Like nothing's actually been happening. And again, this comes from laziness. Whether you're a guy or a woman, you never want to say, hey, this person is so good that I'm not going to, for example, be a part of this job that person actually does. It is okay to be, for example, a housewife, and you're like, hey, you know what? I want to be involved in money too, because we're married and your money is my money. My money, although I don't make any money, is also your money, right? And I'm handling the family here. So we have to be, everyone has to be on the same page. That's why I highly recommend everyone, when you talk about basically getting married, forget about this whole thing whether, hey, my money is my money, I have a bank account, you have a bank account. If you don't trust this person, then why you're marrying them, right? It doesn't make any sense. You got to have full trust and have everything combined. That way you guys can work towards the same exact goals and actually get there. So let's talk about, guys, some solutions here, okay? What are the solutions? Because that's what's actually important here. But before we get to solutions, I'm gonna take a look at the chat. So if you guys have any questions, comment down below in the chat. I'm seeing you guys in the chat. What is up? I have MZG Asmir, what's good? And I see Marcel Hall, what is good? Shout out to you. How's Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico so far has been amazing, man. I'll be honest, the first time I got here, I felt a little strange, because people told me, Tommy, when you go to Puerto Rico, it's gonna be like being in the past, like being, for example, like in 2003 when we had internet, but everything was perfect. It was just like weird, like kind of like outdated back in 2003, but it's not really like that. Puerto Rico is awesome. The only drawback, it's expensive, by the way. It's not like expensive, but you're buying the food, the taxes are more expensive, all this stuff, but overall it is amazing. There are amazing, great people here. Everyone is nice. I just had a lot of fun here. Okay, so far so good. The rent is very cheap. I get to save a bunch of money both on my rent and also, for example, on taxes. So I have a lot of fun. You know, I have a car. I have a great system. When I first got here, I'm not gonna lie to you, because my first time living alone, it was just a lot more complicated, you know, because I have to rebuild all my habits, rebuild independence and all these things. So it was kind of tough in the beginning, but now I have an amazing habit actually coming into flow. Hey, what's up, Tommy? That's from Marcel. What is up? What is up? Everything's fine. Let's continue and get on with this stream. Guys, any questions, comment down below. If you guys want to go ahead and join me on the stream, feel free to actually do so. Okay, that's what we're here for. Join me on the Zoom. The link is right there. I'm gonna go ahead and basically post that link one more time right here. If you guys want to join me on the Zoom, for everyone that's just watching, you don't have to show your face, so don't worry, people on YouTube won't see you, but I have to see your face to make sure that you're not fake, that you're actually a real person. So if you want to join me on Zoom, feel free to do so. There's the link. Join me on Zoom right now. Now, let's talk about solutions, okay? If you are a modern woman and you are broke, what are you supposed to do? Well, the good thing is that I'll tell you this, guys, okay? The great thing about money is that money does not care who you are or where you come from. And I'll tell you why. Because when I was in college, I'm the Spanish boy, right, with my skin color, for example. I come from a broken home, from a third world country. My mom was never rich. My dad was never rich. Now, statistics will show you, hey, this person right here is probably not going to be successful. But in reality, when it comes to money, the great thing is that once you learn the rules of money, money does not care. Once you do the correct things, your money is going to start growing and growing and growing. That's what I love so much about money, because hey, it just doesn't judge, it just doesn't care, male or women. Okay, so the main thing is, the first thing you want to do, you want to invest in yourself, but you want to do it this time, for example, the right way. The wrong way is assuming that more degrees means more money. That's not true. The wrong way is saying, hey, more debt, more debt, more debt means more leverage, more money. That's not true either. The truth is, first of all, the best way to invest in yourself when you're broke is you want to, first of all, invest in your skills. Now, in this world, a capitalist society, you get paid and you get rewarded on the ability you have to solve problems and your skills. Meaning, for example, you have to go out there and get new, better skills that pay you, for example, more money. So if I invest $20,000 into a skill that pays me, for example, $40,000, that's going to be a better way to invest $20,000 instead of putting it, for example, into real estate or into the stock market. Because in reality, my ROI on a great career, great degree, great skill is going to be always usually a lot higher. So how do you do this, okay? Well, there's two things I want to mention here. You have first the rule of 10, and then you also have, for example, Debt-Free Degree by Anthony O'Neill. This is the Dave Ramsey guy. Now, here's what I mean about the rule of 10. When you're picking a degree, stop picking a degree like you're in the mall and you're picking, for example, hey, what colorway of Jordan or this purse or Nike or whatever it is am I gonna get? Do I want to get the blue one? Do I want to get the pink one? What do I want to get, right? That's not what you're doing. You're picking a degree, right? You're picking something that's gonna last you, well, it's gonna take you around 4 years to 6 years to actually get. And if you graduate with the wrong degree, you graduate with a bunch of debt and also a useless trash degree. So what do? Here's my exercise. I would write down the top 10 careers that I want to have, my top 10 most fulfilling careers that I want to have. For me, it might be, for example, accountant, finance, economics, you might put in there lawyer, nurse, like whatever it is for you. You want to do all the research possible on these careers right here. On top of that, you want to go to laborstatistics.gov to find out, for example, what the best careers actually are. But don't just stop there, because now you have the list of what you want, but now you got to find out exactly what these careers basically involve, right? So do a research paper on each and every single one of those careers. Find out basically, hey, what does this one take? How much money will I make? How long does it take? Does this have, for example, potential for growth in the future? Does it make sense? Is it going to be a good investment? That is the overall idea. And then, for example, you start crossing off, for example, the top 7. You're left, for example, 3. And then pick one that you actually like the most is also going to make you a good amount of money. That's how you go ahead and pick a degree. Don't pick it based on, hey, my parents want this, or I think that this is cool. No, it is a business decision. So make it and do it the right way. Also, debt-free degree. Although it is the norm, it doesn't mean that it's actually the right thing. And by the way, the most popular things in the world don't always mean that they're basically the best things. By the way, I'm seeing the chat right here. Keep commenting. When we take a break, I'll basically go ahead and answer all the questions you guys are leaving behind. So keep commenting in the chat. I'm seeing everything there, okay? But here's what I mean, okay? People think that basically the norm is what's supposed to happen. The most popular is the best, and all these things. The most popular restaurant is McDonald's. Is that the best? No. The average person graduates with a bunch of debt. Is that the best way to do it? No. The average person retires with a bunch of debt. Well, not just debt, but also, for example, with not enough money to actually retire. Is that the right thing to do? The answer is no. You don't want to be average because average sucks, and you also don't want to be the most popular thing because always the most popular thing is not always the best, okay? So here's what I mean. The most popular way to go to college is basically I apply to all the best schools ever, right? All the best schools. The private school over here, the private school over here. I go to that school. I'm there. I'm paying $300, $400, $500 per credits, and the first few 8 to 12 credits are basically trash about ethics and business this, and oh, I need to learn about this science or this math, whatever it is, okay? Like, you know, like the general education courses, those ones are trash, okay? You shouldn't pay like a high price for it, but that's the normal way to go to college. You get to the good college, then you finish in 4 years, hopefully with a degree that you might or may not use. A lot of people don't use them, but what's the right way to go to college? What's the best way to actually upgrade your skills? Well, the answer is be unpopular. Take the road that's actually been less walked. That means, hey, instead of going to a 4-year private school where they're gonna charge me, by the way, they charged me, I think it was $600 to $700 per credit at my private school. And by the way, I got scholarships like crazy. That's why I graduated with not that much debt. I was extremely lucky. And when I did graduate with debt, it was because I took a loan to use that money to basically go start a business, which made me a lot of money. I got lucky, so don't try this at home. But yeah, that's why things happen. But again, imagine paying somebody $700 per credit, and each class is 3 credits. That's a lot of money, right? So it's like $2,000 to $300 every single per class. It's a lot. It's a lot. So here's the difference. If I knew this when I was 17 years old, graduating high school, I would have done this. I had a community college right next to my house. If I went there, for example, I would have gotten each credit for around $150 to $200, meaning I get it for a fraction of the price. Meaning I go there, right? I get all the general education courses that I actually need, and then I go to that fancy school after, for example, 1 year, 2 years, get my GPA up and very nice so that we can get accepted to other school, and then I go there, I transfer all those credits, which basically means I save a bunch of money. But guess what? While I was also in college, I'm not just in I don't like this. People gotta stop doing this. People go to college and they're like, yo, Tommy, I'm in college, that's all I do. College sucks. It's not really that good. College is not really important if you're not doing everything it takes. Meaning, yes, you're practicing the coursework. You're learning from the teachers, all that stuff. But you also have to be networking. You also have to have, for example, a job. It's about growth and responsibility, right? And also taking some internships. You have to be making money while you're also in college. This way, when you're finished with those first 2 years of getting those first gen ed courses or the first year, you have, for example, a few $1,000s saved up. So when you go, for example, to that college that you actually want to go to, that 4-year one, but you already got a few courses that you actually needed for a discount, you have cash, but you also apply for a bunch of scholarship, a minimum of at least 100 to 200 scholarships. That means even more money. And the goal is to fully graduate debt-free. Imagine you graduating and saying, yo, I graduated with no debt. I got a friend, God bless his soul, he graduated from the same college I went to, and he owes around $80,000 in debt. And last time I checked on him, he was making around $14 to $15 per hour. And he's just telling me, I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? It's that crazy, because the degree he got was trash, right? It was business management. It's trash. You want to specialize. You want to verify. That's why I say follow the top 10. I'm seeing the chat, guys. Keep commenting down below. I'm gonna answer all the questions in the chat. I'm seeing we got 10 people right here. Let's go ahead and get those likes up. Let's get that engagement all the way up, okay? Now, the second solution here for broke women and men, all right? But we're focusing right now on modern women. Second thing is this, okay, guys? You got to learn to manage your current income, and that means actively. Meaning, you know, and you might say, well, Tommy, what if I just want to be, for example, like a housewife, right? I just want to be home. I don't want to work. Just take care of the kids, take care of the home. By the way, that's a full-time job, by the way. But the idea is that when you marry someone, it's not like, well, if I don't make any money, I have no say to all the money. No, it's a marriage. So it's a partnership. Both of you guys are together. Whatever money comes into the household, not into one person's pocket. So you can't be lazy, right? Don't be lazy, and don't be the passenger to hell like we spoke about before. That's the person that says, hey, I'm 60 or 50, my husband does everything, but I don't know what's been going on for the past 20 years because I've been on autopilot, and I know for a fact we're not going to retire on time, and I'm just scared. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. So you want to learn how to basically manage your money actively starting today. If you make, I learned this when I was making $60 per week in college, owing $2,000 in credit card debt, and having around $13K in student loan debt back then. Right? So I was basically broke, very broke. But I learned how to manage the little amount of money that I actually have. And guess what? When you learn to manage a small amount, I don't know what it is, whether it's God or the universe, but all of a sudden, you start to receive more and more money because you're able to actually manage more and more of it. Again, guys, if you guys want to join me on the Zoom, feel free to do so. The Zoom is actually open. But what does this mean? Okay, so how do you manage your money? Well, there are two things I want to break down when it comes to managing your money. And that first thing is basically having a budget. But having, for example, the right budget. For everyone that says out there, Tommy, I don't want to have a budget because I work too hard, I deserve to have fun. The answer is you set your own budget. Don't be a dummy. You make your own budget. Meaning, if you want to have in your budget things that you actually want to do, put that in your budget. But you can't have control over your money if you don't even know how much money you make per month. If you don't even know how much money you spend per month. I talk to people all the time. They're like, hey, what's your income? I don't know. What's your expenses? I don't know. It's kind of like you're just like an autopilot. You just don't know what's going on. You want to actively learn to manage your money. So you have 4 main expenses. They call this a foundation to expenses, basically, the foundation to a budget. And the main 4 expenses are basically, you have shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Those are the 4 walls to every single budget. So usually you'll have those 4 things there all the time. Meaning, make sure when you get your first apartment or you buy a home, make sure you're not paying half your money towards this home. That's stupid. That's pretty trash because that means half your income is basically gone to housing. Make a rule. Don't have housing be more than 33% of your monthly income. Utilities. That's basically gas, electricity, the home insurance, maintenance maybe, and also like your phone bill and internet. But everything else is just not needed, right? Then groceries. I hate this. Honestly, I'm sorry for all of the foodies that follow me. But I don't understand how people spend like $400 per person every single month. I just don't get it. You know, Tommy, but I love food. You know, you make $2,800 a month. You spend $300, $400 on food. And you're like, why am I broke? Because you spend all your money on food. It's not cute. It's only cute when you're in college. But once you're an adult and you're broke because of this, it's not cool whatsoever. So get a hold of this. And then transportation. Everyone wants to be rolling around in a Lexus, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, fancy car that you can't afford. Don't do it. Just buy a cheap car. Don't worry about appearances. You buy, for example, a $2,000, $3,000 car, but at least it's yours and you actually own it. And once you upgrade your skills, you upgrade your income, you're investing, you've been responsible, you're able to go ahead and basically buy the car you want, but buy it for cash. It's very different, right? You know, I personally right now want this crazy car. And I'm like, I got business to handle right now. So I'll wait. And by next year when I buy, or the year after that, the car's gonna be cheaper. So I don't lose anyway. You know, I drive I think my car is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 7-year-old car. It's a 7-year-old car. I don't care. But you gotta have this budget in place. You have shelter, utilities, grocery, transportation. Those right there are the 4 main walls to a budget. And then you want to put this, for example, into your simple budget. What is good, Kenneth? What is good, Marcel? I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Leave your questions in the chat. I'll respond to you guys in a bit. I just want to close this out real quick. Then we have, for example, when you have money coming in, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to have a job for all your money. Now, me personally, my money has 6 jobs. The first job is emergency. My money needs to give me security. Second job is investment. I want to make money from my money. Third job is debt. My money has to pay my debts. That way I can become debt-free, fix my mistakes, and all this stuff. Fourth job is expenses, right? We have expenses. I haven't seen a person in this earth that can live without a single expense. And then the fifth job is fun. You gotta have a budget for having fun. The average person does not budget fun, but they say, I barely spend money on fun. But then before you know it, they're broke every single month because you spend too much money on it. And then you have lastly, charity. If you're a Christian, usually you're tithing 10%, which is fine. But if you just want to donate, by the way, I think that everyone should donate money. It's just a great thing to do. So if you can just donate just 1% of your money towards a charity that actually care about whatever it is, or the homeless guy in your neighborhood, it matters. It makes a difference. Because, for example, if you have, for example, 12 people right now watching this this live stream, and all of you, for example, donate $10, that's $120, right? It matters. It makes a difference, okay? Now, the third solution here is you want to follow the 4 steps to financial freedom. Before I go into that, though, I want to take a little break here and answer some questions that I'm seeing right here in the chat. So let me answer some questions here. I'm seeing here, do you think graphic design is a good thing, like a career-wise, to especially if I'm trying to build my YouTube channel on the side? So the question here is, do I think that graphic design is going to be a good career, especially if I want to use it, for example, for my YouTube channel, I want to build it up on the side? The answer is it depends, right? So graphic designers, sometimes you don't get a job. It's kind of like a really tough industry. But the answer is you want to do research on this stuff, right? So spend the next 4 hours dedicated and solely focus to find out exactly the job growth in this entire career. Look on Indeed, look on Upwork, find out, hey, are there actually jobs being posted for this? How hard is it to actually get it? How much does the average person actually make? Do all the research possible. But the answer is, if all you want to do is graphic design to do YouTube, that's a terrible idea. Because remember, if you do YouTube and YouTube makes you money, which is awesome, what can you do with that money? You can hire a graphic designer, because usually your time is going to be worth than a graphic designer. Well, more. Meaning, if me as a YouTuber, my time is worth, let's just say, $20 per hour, and I can hire a graphic designer, let's just say, for example, for $10 per hour, right? These numbers are not real, by the way. Then that means, hey, let me just use my money to hire him and just basically make more money from making more videos or whatever. And again, you know, graphic design is also something you can basically learn from taking courses online. And also, for example, just watching YouTube tutorials. So that's also a way to actually get it. So if you want to do it, for example, to get into this industry or whatever, find out, does it make sense that you get it? Or can I get a job just by basically taking courses, watching videos, and then going out there and going into the market and basically building up my own reputation and then basically getting hired. Find that out. You know, not all degrees are made equally, meaning that you can have a degree that you get just to have the piece of paper, but you can still do that same thing without the piece of paper. Meaning, hey, I can be, for example, what's one I can use here? Let's say business management, right? I want to do business management so I can basically go ahead and become a manager at a business without any experience. That sounds crazy to me. It's insane, right? It makes no sense. That's why people, they can't find a job. Right? I just graduated, no experience, but I'm gonna become a manager somewhere. It doesn't happen. You can have that way. You got a degree, piece of paper. Now you gotta spend the next 4-10 years building experience to actually go ahead and manage something. Or you can just graduate if you know you want to do that. Study all the books, work for a company, work yourself in that whole structure of the company, that ladder, corporate ladder, and then go ahead and become a leader. You know, degrees, they add value. They do. I'm not gonna lie. But if they don't make sense financially, just don't get them. There are different ways to actually do it. So graphic design might be good, might not be good. You want to go ahead and do all the research on it. Other question here. What exactly is considered broke? How much money? Well, the answer is, right, Tommy, what do you consider broke? It's a great question. What I consider broke is going to be very different from what you probably consider broke or what the average person considers broke. Because I consider a person that makes $1 million a year broke if they spend $1.2 million. I consider the person that makes $4,000 every single month rich if they only spend $2,000 because they have a surplus of cash. They have extra cash. That's what I consider wealthy. That's what I consider, for example, financial freedom. If I can make $40K a year in passive income, right? More likely guaranteed, very low risk, and I only spend $30,000 a year, I'm wealthy. I'm good because I have more coming in than I have going out. So when I say you're broke, I mean, for example, usually you have more going out than you have going in. And if you have a bucket with a hole at the bottom, right, eventually you're going to have a dry bucket. Nothing's going to be in there. That's what I mean when I say you're broke. You have way too much money going out than you actually have going in. Now, for everyone that's going to try to play me on this, okay, Tommy, but guess what, okay? That's not me, because I actually have more money coming in than I have going out. And I asked him, really, how much do you have left? Well, I have left $200-300 per month, but I make $3,800 a month. The answer is you're still broke, right? Because you need to have, for example, at least, I'll say, for example, you should have at least between 10 to 30% from what you actually make to not be considered broke in my book. Meaning, if you make $4,000 a month, you should have at least a minimum of $400 to go towards building wealth. That's 10%, or up to 30%. And if you really have, for example, a high income and low expenses, you're able to get away basically with 50%. Right now, I can easily live on less than 10 to 20% of my income. That's awesome to me. So the thing is, your income, your money, you have to have the ability to use a percentage of it to go ahead and basically build wealth for you. It's going to be very hard to get your first million, first 2 million, first 3 million, or damn it, first 10,000. If you spend all of your money all the time, it just makes no sense. So when you have a surplus of at least 10%, things just become a lot more easier. But I do recommend to have at least 20 to 30%. That right there is the sweet spot towards building wealth. Now, other question here. I find it semi-easy to manage my finances, but difficult to manage my wife spending. LOL. Marcel Hall. This is an amazing question here. I love this question, by the way. Tommy, I manage my finances very well, but my wife is just spending money like crazy. Now, it depends, right? If she's like a housewife, she stays at home, takes care of the kids, do the whole, everything, right? The idea is, I found that the best way to have you and somebody on the same page is to get them involved in the process and to have, for example, similar goals. I had a couple that called me earlier from Texas, and they were like, Tommy, it's a guy, by the way, he's a trucker. He's like, Tommy, I'm making some money, a good amount of money. I'm about to have twins on the way, but the big thing is basically that my wife doesn't want to sell the car, or maybe wants to spend some extra money, and we're just not on the same page. What am I supposed to do here? Well, the answer is, first of all, you have to come from a place of love, meaning you have to communicate in a respectful way. Because again, that's your wife. It's not your kid. So you can't be like, you got to do this. No, it doesn't work like that. It's your wife, right? So you got to come from a place of respect. But it also has to be from a place of love. Like, hey, here's what's going on. Here are our goals. Here is where we're going to end up. What do you think about this? And remember, right? People don't hear what you say. They basically see what you do and then use that to determine exactly the type of person you basically are. If you're trying to go to your wife and you're spending money here, you're trying to tell her, hey, don't spend money, they can just see right through that, right? And also the way you perceive them. So, in my opinion, if I have a wife and we're not on the same page financially, I will make it my goal to get on the same page financially. Let's have a conversation. Let's come from a place of love here. Let's talk about, by the way, these are questions you should have, for example, before you get married, right? What do you think about money? These are questions you should have before you get married. But if you're already in the mix and then you got to worry about this now, I get it. So you got to say, hey, here are the goals. What do you think about this? Where are we going to end up here? If I have a wife and I tell her, hey, at this rate, you're spending and my spending, we're going to end up broke or stay broke forever. That's a shock, right? We can't send our kids to college. We can't retire. I will be working forever. Do you want this? Nobody, usually, unless they're like mad, wants that. You know what I mean? So, and by the way, sometimes spending, like crazy spending, is a side effect of something else in the relationship. So, always, you know, I used to be very scared of therapy and like counseling. Don't be afraid to get, for example, marriage counseling. Get on the same page, and if you have, but because you know sometimes it's just too difficult to have a conversation between you and somebody else, like your wife, because maybe it just might be getting static or whatever. So don't be afraid to introduce, for example, a neutral party to help you guys communicate effectively. And eventually, once you guys become professionals at communication, you're able to eliminate, right, slowly phase out the therapist as you guys practice more and more together. To me, that's awesome. That's what I would do if I had a wife with a spending problem. Here's another question by Kenneth here. Tommy, I want to do the 75-15-10 rule. The only thing is that I get paid bi-weekly. Should I wait every 2 weeks, or should I just have, for example, the 75-15-10 rule when I get paid? I think the 75-15-10 rule is basically 75% on my needs, 15% on my wants, and then 10% on my investments. You can have vice versa on those right there. But the answer is, I think that's trash. You know, the thing is, right, when you're broke, bro, Kenneth, I'm talking to you, bro. When you're broke, I'm talking to all of you guys here. When you're broke, you don't got no time to be thinking about, hey, I want this, I want that. I think it's just such a childish way to look at finances and money. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm going to spend 75% of all my money on things I need, and then 15% of things that I want, and then only 10% on the investments. It's stupid. It's stupid. Here's why it's stupid. Because on average, if you can get down to spending only 70% on your expenses, use just 1% towards having fun. The rest of your money should be used for purposes. What's the first purpose? Pay off your debts first, because your debts are costing you a bunch of money. Second, save for emergencies with the rest of the money, because that way, if you lose your job, which might happen, you know, it's 2021, people lost their jobs, by the way, if you guys don't know this, guess what? If it happens, you got money. You can take care of yourself. On top of that, then you start investing 10 to 20% into your retirement. I read in this book today, it was like, happiness is choosing to not be happy right now to be happy later. And by the way, that's not really true. You can be happy right now while you're going to be happy later. But the point is, you got to make sacrifices, right? You got to make sacrifices. And then the rest of your money, you basically use it to pay off your house early. That's the whole goal. I'd rather, me personally, Kenneth, right? I'd rather, for example, pay and basically be on a strict budget for the next 10 years, right? Than be on this in my things that I need and then things that I want for the next 45 years and then have nothing to show for it. That's what I just rather not do that, right? I'd rather just have a paid for home as fast as possible, have my investments overflowing, have no debt, have my emergency account basically popping. That way, hey, my goal is that, and by the way, I'm about to reach this very soon this year, right? Not this year, next year. By next year for sure, I'll fully be done. But by next year, guess what? Your boy has a great investment account. Your boy has a paid for home. Your boy has a great emergency account. Your boy has everything paid off and no debt. To me, that's freedom. To me, that's amazing. Because now I have enough passive income to cover all my expenses. This means, Kenneth, right? If by this point, again, this plan on average takes 10 to 15 years. It's a long time, but it's a lot shorter than 45 years. But for example, this means that if I want to go out there and buy, for example, the car I want, which is the Kia Stinger GT2, right? If I want to buy that car for $50K brand new, I can if I want to, because I can afford to just burn that money, because everything else is taken care of. Business is done officially. To me, that right there is freedom. That right there is amazing. But having this idea of like, hey, I spend 75% of my money on my needs. And by the way, a lot of the times your needs are fake needs, because your real needs are just, for example, shelter, utilities, grocery, transportation, everything else you just want. But people confuse it. Oh, but I need my Netflix account. I need the high-speed internet. I need the new iPhone every year. It's fake news, right? It's fake news. So I'd rather have my priorities straight for the next 10 to 15 years than pretend like everything's fine and have nothing to show for it. in the next, for example, 20, 30, 40 years. Remember, 10% investing is fine, but 20% investment, paid off home, emergency accounts, no debt, that's awesome. To me, that's awesome. That's my response. I hope that makes sense, Kenneth. I see another question here. Is saving 10% and investing 10% good? The answer is no. That's trash. I'll tell you why that's trash. Tommy, is saving 10% and investing 10% good? The answer is no, that is trash. Here's why that's trash. It's trash because basically your savings make you no money. The only time you should save is for emergencies or for an upcoming expense, like a down payment on a home, or you're about to buy a car, or whatever it is. But your savings do nothing for you. They don't make you money. They lose you money. You know, I don't like Grant Cardone that much. Don't agree on everything, but I do agree on this. Cash is trash. Cash is trash, okay? You can have, for example, $10,000. By the end of the year, that $10,000 can't buy as much anymore because of inflation, right? It just happens. Money deteriorates. It's just how it works. So the answer is you don't want to be saving for anything. So here's what I would do. I have my emergency account fully funded. In my savings accounts, I leave it there. That money is not to make me money. It's just for security. If I have to buy something pretty soon, right, that's coming up in the future, like a car, down payment on a home, I save it for it. But if I have no goals to save for, I'm investing all my money into a diversified portfolio because that is going to grow. That is going to make me wealthy. That's what you want to do. But saving and having money under your pillow for whatever reason is trash. Don't do it. It makes no sense. Another question here. Hey, Tommy, can you make a separate video to the question I asked at 4:27 p.m.? I don't know what question you asked at 4:27 p.m., brother. You want to go ahead and basically ask that question again so I know what question you actually asked. That's very specific. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to get on with me right now on the Zoom call, right? Get on right now. You don't have to show your face. I'll talk to you one-on-one and let's have a conversation and discuss. So, Marcel, if you have questions you want to talk to me about, get on right now and let's have a conversation. By saving, I meant emergencies. Saving 10% for emergencies. The answer is no. So, yeah. So, to go back to this problem right here, well, tell me, what if I'm just going to save 10% for emergencies and invest 10%? The answer is no, because you want to have priorities. Priorities are king here. Why? Because what happens, bro, if you're investing 10%, saving 10%, but then you have an emergency that needs more money than you have in your emergency account? What does that mean? You're going to have to go ahead and dip into your investment account, which is trash. You don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you have priorities. That's why I say first step is pay off your debts. Second step is fully fund your emergency account, because that way when things go wrong, you have the money there. Take priority there. And by the way, usually these steps don't really take more than, for the average person, more than 3 years to 12 months. For some people that have, for example, a lot of debt, might take longer, but for the average person, it doesn't really take that long. So take that time, save for your emergencies, then start investing at 10, 20%. If you have an emergency, guess what? You have the money there to handle business. That's why I say that. Now, here is another question I'm seeing here, guys, okay? By the way, go ahead and join the Zoom. If you guys want to talk to me on Zoom, let me know. Join the Zoom, okay? I love talking to you guys, okay? So that's why I push so much the Zoom. Let me just share that link again for the Zoom. Again, when you join the Zoom, you don't have to show your face, so that's okay. If you're camera shy, don't worry. Your face is not gonna be on YouTube. So yeah, go ahead and join the Zoom if you guys want to talk to me one-on-one. And again, you know, I come here, it's all business. I'll talk about my topic. I'll help you guys with the questions. But if we don't have any more things to do or any more questions, I'll leave. You know, that's what we do here. It's all business here. So, all right. So here's a question here. Tommy, do you advocate for ACORNs? The answer is no. I don't advocate for any company. You know why? I advocate for what works. And what works can work today and maybe cannot work tomorrow. When I used to invest, for example, in ACORNs, which wasn't that long ago, it was like almost 2 years ago. I guess it was a long time ago. The idea behind me investing into acorns was very simple. And by the way, everything I'm about to say preceding this conversation is going to be allegedly. I really don't want to get sued, guys. I don't want to get sued. So here's what happened. When I went into acorns, it was advertised to me from my perspective as a brokerage account for people that are interested in long-term investments, people that want to grow this oak, right? It takes years, but in the end, it's gonna pay off, right? That's what I was sold, right? You can start with a small amount of money, it'll grow, everything's gonna be fine. Acorns. Now, I invested my money, I made videos about it. Hey guys, I use acorns. That's probably what you're asking me. And I shared my link. Hey, here's the link if you want to sign up for acorns, all this stuff, it's fine. Because when you guys sign up, I get money, you get money, everyone wins. However, things change when the Fire Nation attacked. I'm just kidding, okay? But things change when Acorns decided to, I think Acorns was had an investor. The investor was basically BlackRock, which is basically like this mass investment firm. And basically Acorn shifted their investments from mostly Vanguard based over to BlackRock based, which basically means if you had a lot of money invested into Acorns, well, automatically, because they shifted that money, you're gonna get taxed like crazy. Meaning Acorn switched portfolios, meaning I'm gonna get some capital gains tax because they sold my stuff and they have permission to do it because they have all the right. Now tell me, why are you so pissed about this? Because that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for long term, meaning, hey, I trust the portfolio. I want to have my money here for the long term, especially because I don't want to get taxed like a madman, right? That's the main thing. So when that happened, I got pretty upset. I got pretty mad. And I said, well, I never want to give somebody so much control over my portfolio to the point where they can be allegedly influenced by an investment company that just came and invested in them. I'm not saying the portfolio is trash. I'm saying if the other portfolio was amazing, it was great, it was solid, it was an amazing portfolio, by the way, great modern portfolio, is a great one. But the reason they changed it was not because, oh, this one's so much better. It was more like allegedly because this new investment company came into play, right? That's why. And I don't want to play those games. I want to have my money invested, grow it over the long term, and that's why I got so mad with Acorns. Now, another thing is basically when I realized this, and I started to go ahead and use M1 Finance, which right now is my favorite app. It's an amazing app, by the way. I love M1 Finance, and I don't get paid to say this, by the way, but I love them. If you guys want to, sponsor your boy, feel free to do so. But maybe take that back, because I rarely take sponsors. It'll have to be like appropriate. It have to make sense. If you guys notice, right, I don't really do sponsors because basically I am not biased. So no one can tell me, hey, you gotta say this, say that. No one tells me that. Okay, I say the truth all the time. That's what I want to do 100% of the time. That's what I stand for. However, though, when I wanted to switch from Acorns to M1 Finance, I found out this little trick. The trick was basically, hey Tommy, well, if you want to switch, that's fine, but we're gonna charge you $50 per ETF you're going to be transferring. Meaning, if I have, allegedly by the way, if I have 6 ETFs, what does this mean, Tommy? It means that, hey, look at this, guys. It means that I have 6 ETFs multiplied by $50. That's gonna cost me $300 to transfer my portfolio from Acorns to M1 Finance. I was like, are they crazy? This is a madman, right? It's crazy. The average brokerage charges maybe like $60 to $75. That's the average. But this, $300, guys, that's crazy. It makes no sense. So I was like, I don't like it. You guys switched up on me. And on top of that, you guys are trying to keep me in here through the wrong tactics. So I said I'm out. So I transfer over my investments. I no longer use Acorns. I have money in there because they keep paying me because you guys keep signing up. And by the way, it's not that Acorns is terrible or that it's the worst app ever. Let me adjust this here. Acorns is for the person that does not want to be in control and does not mind having a brokerage account basically do whatever they want with their money. And that's fine. If you just want to passively invest your money, never worry about it, then Acorns is for you. However, if you want to have some control over your money, meaning they just can't sell when they want to, they can't just do whatever they want, then M1 Finance is for you. Because basically, You build a portfolio, you can automatically invest money into it also. It's the same thing, but you have control. You don't have to sell anything. Then M1 Finance for you, and that's why I use M1 Finance so much. Now, that's my story on Acorns. Hopefully that wasn't too long for you guys or exhausting. But let's go ahead and hear some more questions here, okay? By the way, guys, if you guys want to join the Zoom call, actually, before I answer another question, I think we actually have a call, if I'm not mistaken, from one of you guys. So I actually have to call one of you guys. So basically, if you guys don't know, there are two ways to get in contact with me. You have, for example, you can talk to me one-on-one, basically through Zoom. The link is right there. You don't have to show your face. Or you can schedule a call, and when I go live next time, I'll basically give you a call directly. So I'm about to go ahead and call Trey. Now, guys, I need you guys to let me know. Okay, so drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Not right now, but when I do call this person, I want to know, because they might answer, they might not answer, who knows, but I want to know if you guys can actually hear me or not hear me. Okay, very important. All right, so that's connected. Let me see, I got the phone number right here, so let me go ahead and make this this call. Okay, I want you guys, by the way, guys, yeah, keep dropping your questions. I'm gonna answer them in a second. Let me just go ahead and try to make this call real quick and see if the person answers, because when you guys make calls, appointments with me, I try to basically call every single one of you guys. Okay, so I want you guys to drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are actually able to hear everything. Okay, so drop a 1 in the chat. Just give me a second real quick. Okay, pluggable. Okay, there you go. So everything should be fine here. Let me know. Hi, hello.
Hello.
Is this Trey?
Oh, what's up? Yes.
Hey, Trey, this is Tommy Bryson. Before we continue, I want to let you know that we're basically live. So are you okay with that?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, that's perfect. So everyone in the chat, drop a 1 if you're able to hear me and Troy's conversation here. Just want to make sure everything's solid. All right, so let me know. What's going on? How can I help?
So, I have some money that's sitting around in my bank account or my SoFi account. I'm not touching it actively, and I wanted to kind of maximize that. I'll probably be using it within the next 2 or 3 years, but I kind of wanted to grow, and I was wondering if
How
I
much
should put
cash
it
you
into
have?
another. Man, it's at least about 4,000 or 5,000.
Okay, so let's say $4,000. So you have $4,000, and the question is, you want to know what to put it into?
Yeah, so I have an ETF. I'm using your M1 Finance portfolio currently, but I want to know if should I start another ETF portfolio and with that and
Why
kind of
would you
have
do
it
that?
grow. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So I can have my money grow a little bit before I can use it in the future, but it'll so it can basically so it can grow.
All right.
Sorry,
So first,
I'm driving
okay.
right now, but
So it's all right. So it sounds like you're a little new to this. Okay. Now,
oh, absolutely, I'm new. Yeah.
that's fine. So my portfolio, the reason I give that portfolio out, it's not my portfolio, by the way. It's a portfolio that was created by somebody that's 10 times smarter than I am, right? Nobel Peace
Yeah.
Prize winner, all this stuff, right? Economists. Now the idea is my portfolio is perfectly balanced, meaning you have investments in the U.S. market, international market, the small cap market, corporate bonds, treasury bonds, real estate, also, for example, into emerging markets, right? So meaning when one piece of the economy goes down, you'll be fine in another part. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yep.
So that's what we want to look for. Meaning, when you have this portfolio, you're going to get a good return between 8 to 12% per year plus a dividend. So you're gonna make money. But before you start investing, my main focus is always: do you have any debt?
I have college debt. Yes.
Okay, so how much money do you owe in student loan debt?
About 27K.
Okay, you have any credit card debt?
No.
Um, car note?
I don't pay my car note. My parents do.
How much does it owe?
Actually, so I have an old car, so my car is actually paid for. And I think they pay my insurance though.
Oh, okay. You live with your parents?
No, I just moved out of town. Well, I moved to my college town.
Okay. How old are you?
So I'm 22 now.
Okay, so you're 22 years old. Are you going to college?
I recently graduated.
Okay, awesome. What did you graduate as?
I got a bachelor's in kinesiology.
And what? Kinesiology?
Yeah, exercise science.
Okay, what are you trying to do with that?
I want to become a physical therapist. So then my next step would be to take the GRE and apply for grad school, which is
Interesting.
gonna put me in more debt, a lot more debt.
Yeah, a lot
We're
more
talking
debt for
around,
sure.
yeah,
All right, so here's what I'll tell you, right? You have the student loan debt. Right now they're not charging you any interest, which is fine.
right,
But it's probably costing you around maybe like 4.5 to 5 6% when they actually do charge you interest, right?
right,
Now this means if you have money in a portfolio where you're making, for example, let's just say 8% at the low end, and you have 3% being deducted for inflation, and you have like 1% for fees, you're left with around 4%, right? Which basically means
yeah,
it cancels out. So this is why I say my priority initially is always to become debt free first, because once you become debt free, you free up a lot of your income to basically invest even more money. But it's all about priorities. Because if I right now you're lucky because you only have student loan debt, but if you have, for example, credit card debt, and that costs you 18%, and then you're basically making 10%, it's very obvious that it doesn't make any sense. Right here, it takes a little bit more
right,
math to kind of like make you know that it makes sense. So what I would do is I would pause all investments. I would grab $1,000 and save it on the side in a separate account for emergencies. If I want to
right. I have that.
invest, okay, good, good. So if I want to invest and just get in the habit and see that money grow, I'm only going to invest 1%. Listen here, of my income. I want you to get into the habit of automation, but you're not really supposed to be investing right now because you're into debt. So your main priority is to eliminate this debt. So this means, what's your income right now per month, net?
About 1,800 a month.
Yeah. How many jobs do you have? Just one?
One job currently.
And you just graduated, right?
Yes.
All right. You need some more jobs, or you need a better job. All right. You need more income to pay off this debt faster. You shouldn't have any time for free time or anything like that. Just basically lock down and focus on paying this off. Now, that's that, right? You pay off the debt. Once you're done there, you're still not investing. You save for emergencies, 3 to 6 months worth, and then finally you start investing that 10, 20% into that ETF portfolio that I gave you, whether it's into the Roth IRA or into the 401k when you actually get a job that's actually more solid base. However, here's one thing I want to ask you. What made you want to pick this degree and also try to go into debt for like another $100,000, something like that, potentially?
I'm really into the health side of it. And I know being a physical therapy that's where the money is really. Physical therapy, chiropractors, occupational therapy. It's not really a lot of money in the personal trainers. You can, but
Really?
it's a slow climb. You have
Okay.
to build your clientele over
So let me
time.
so let me ask you a question, right? You have slow climb versus crazy debt. You have slow climb versus crazy debt. The crazy debt is still going to take you 4 to 6 years to amass, is it not?
It's 3 years of grad school, and you'll be coming out making six figures,
Six
but
figures?
you definitely be in six figure debt as well.
Yeah. So look, here's what I would do just to make this as because I come from a place of, if I was in your shoes, what would I do?
Right.
There's what you want to do and what you need to do. There's a difference. I'm not here for what you want to do. I'm here to tell you maybe what you need to do. Right? That's the important
Right.
part. So if I'm you, I'm 22 years old, and I have $4,000 to my name, but I'm broke because my net worth is basically super negative. What's my priority? My priority is I want to get a job that maybe is involved in this field that I want to get into, right? That way I can make money, but I can also grow in my experience. I also want to be applying for over 100 to 200 scholarships, and I want to find a way to do grad school without any debt. That's the main thing. So if it's going to take 3 years, I want to find out exactly, well, what's going to be the cost of me going to the school in total. I want to divide that number by three. So let's just say it's $100,000 divided by three. That means $33,000 a year. So that means if I'm going to do grad school, I have to find a way between scholarships financial help, my jobs, and my savings to basically get me that money every year. So when I graduate debt free. I spoke about this today in the live too. Just because the norm is graduating with a bunch of debt, it doesn't mean it has to be your rule. So
Yeah.
if you do want to do this, before I do this, by the way, and I decide to get into this, because again, right, we could have this whole plan right now, Troy, and I can give you this whole plan, and then you can do this whole thing for 1 year, then you drop out and you have a bunch of debt, and you never exercise anything. That happens too, by the way, with a lot of people. They find out midway, I don't want to do this. So what I would do is, I would take the next, for example, today, dedicate 4 to 8 hours towards doing the rule of 10. Meaning, I'm gonna write down my top 10 degrees that I'm most interested in. Right. The good thing is you graduated, so you can basically skip all the genetic courses and all that stuff. I'm gonna write down my top 10 degrees that I actually want to get into. Right.
Right.
Once I do that, I want to study every single one of them. So what's going to be the growth in this industry? How much money will I make? On top of that, also, what's the competition like? What's the day-to-day like? You can also check, for example, LinkedIn and actually put questions that are actually in those fields. Once you're done with this stuff, like a research paper per like career, then you cross off the ones you're actually not that interested in. Once you find out based on the research, you're left with 3. The top 3, you pick the one that you most like, and also makes you a decent amount of money. If that degree is going to be, for example, physical therapy, then great. But before you do that, you got to put your head down for the next 2 years to save up money and basically bulk down, apply for a lot of scholarships. And so when you do go, you can go and basically graduate fully debt-free. Everything in life is a slow climb. The only way to basically advance a lot faster is by getting into crazy debt, but then you have leverage, and then potentially you have a lot more risk. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's making perfect sense.
So me personally, that's what I would do. Eliminate the idea. Once you eliminate the idea of like, hey, I gotta go to grad school without that, you're gonna open up all the ideas to when it comes to what can I do to actually do this without the debt. That's what you want to do. Okay?
I'm listening. I'm taking down some notes too.
Yeah. So that's what I would tell you to do.
I sure do. Appreciate you.
All right. Any more questions, brother? Or you got it?
I don't think I have any questions
Okay,
right now.
But pause all the investments for right now. Pause them all.
Positive investments.
Yeah. Your priority is just getting out of debt and saving up money and all these things.
Okay. I got you. And this is on YouTube. I can go back and watch it.
Yeah, this is gonna be on the live right here, so you're able to actually go ahead and watch it. We're live right now. Everyone can hear you. All this stuff is here. I want to tell you thank you. And if you want, welcome to the long-term team, man. Always remember this right here is all about the long-term. Okay.
I hear you. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
All right. See you next time.
See you.
All right, guys. So that right there was Troy. We got somebody else on the line. We got who's this? This is Alfonso. Alfonso, what is good? What is good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So guys, we got Alfonso. Do you want to be on YouTube with your face or no?
No.
All right, so Alfonso's here, guys. He doesn't want to show his face, but you guys can hear him. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're able to hear Alfonso. Drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know. All right, I think you're solid. How can I help?
Okay. I'm currently a mail carrier. I work at the post office. I was for the last year. I was working on my emergency savings. I got about like 10K saved up. So through my job, I also have a retirement account, but it's kind of shaky. So like I don't want to depend solely on my job. So like I try to like get I started with ACORN outside of
Okay.
my job, but like I was listening to you. I mean, I really don't know too much about it. I'm pretty much just getting started with investing. So I wanted to move on prior to I'm on finance, but maybe you can give me some type of advice as towards what I
All
can
right.
do.
Okay, so what it sounds like to me is, Tommy, I have a job. I'm a mail carrier, but the main thing is basically I want to get into investing. I've been saving money, but I don't really know how to do it. Does that sound right?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. So the first thing I want to ask you is, Alfonso, congratulations in saving up $10,000, which is amazing, by the way. The average American doesn't have $1,000 for emergencies. How crazy is that? But the first thing is, you have any debt?
I have no debt.
You have no debt, no student loan debt, no nothing?
No, nothing.
No car loan, nothing?
No car loan. I own 2 cars.
Okay, awesome. And how much money do you make per month?
Net maybe like 2,200
Twenty
because
two.
I'm investing into my retirement account. It's like 10%, so it's like a bunch of other stuff that comes out. But
Okay.
yeah,
Let me ask you a question about your retirement. How much of your retirement does your company match? Like, what's the max?
5%.
Okay, 5%. All right. So look, right, here's what I would do if I'm you. And by the way, guys, for everyone that thinks, for example, $20 is not a lot of money, it all depends on what your expenses are and what your goals basically are. Because you have the last person that called in maybe making around the same amount of money but has a bunch of debt also. This guy has 2 cars, has $10,000 saved up, while the average person might make more money and doesn't have a single dollar to their name. So give him some amazing props here. But overall, Alfonso, if I were you and I put myself in your shoes today and I woke up, I'm making $2,200 a month. I saved up $10,000. I have 2 cars. I work for a delivery company. They match me 5%. What am I going to do? And I also have no debt, which is basically amazing. The first step is I'm going to make basically my full-blown emergency account. That means 3 to 6 months. You have that $10,000 in there? You have a budget?
Uh, Not really because I had moved out of my apartment to save because it was hard saving at first. So I tried to just,
Awesome.
you know.
Awesome. So you want a budget, a real budget. You want to write it down on paper and everything. Basically, you want to go ahead and basically you have the 4 main walls to a budget are shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Make sure shelter is no more than 1/3 of what you actually make per month. Make sure utilities are not that high either. Just have the main core like internet, your phone bill, water and gas and insurance. That's about it. And then when it comes to groceries, no more than $200 per person. And then transportation, everything's paid off. In your case, you're good to go. Now, once you have that math, it's just like the bare bones. Multiply that by 6. You save that money in your emergency account. Have that money separate from all your money, not in a normal savings accounts. Have it separate. That way it is hard to actually get the money. So if you get tempted, you won't use the money. Okay, great. We got the emergency account. Now I'm going to go ahead and start investing. If I'm going to be investing, I would do it this exact way. I will go to my company and say, hey, how much money per month or per check do I have to invest to basically get the maximum amount of the match? I just want the max match. That's all I want. So say, hey, you got to invest 5% of your paycheck to get the 5% match in full. I'm going to go ahead and basically invest that much. But in total, I'm going to be investing between 10 to 20% of my income towards retirement. So now I have 5-10% going towards my job, that 401k right there. But then the rest of the money, I'm going to put it, for example, in my Roth IRA. If you want to use my M1 Finance portfolio with, for example, the balanced ETFs, you can have a Roth IRA over there and invest your money over there. It'll be fine. But you try to put that 10% over there. If you get to a point where you increase your income and you invest more than 6K per year in the Roth, you'll have extra money to invest from that 20% to 10%. You can put that money basically into your 401k. Meaning, I just want the free money for my 401k, but the rest of my money, I'm going to put it basically into my Roth IRA. Why? I control that. That's post-tax money. When it's time to retire, I can have all that money fully tax-free. The rest of my money, where do you live?
I live in Pennsylvania.
Okay, PA. Okay. So that means, for example, the rest of my money, and you're how old?
25.
Okay, 25. So the rest of my money, I'm going to use it to basically start saving up for a home. You're 25 years old, probably not ready to buy a home just yet, but it's good to have that money there. So at the same time, you're investing 10-20%. You might be spending around 70% of your income, but the rest of the extra money, you can put that towards home savings. You can just save that money for the down payment, so when you're ready, you're able to buy a home the right way. Or there's another option that I want to give you, right? Right now you're making $2,200.
Yeah.
If you're not super happy with your job and you want to increase your income,
Yeah.
you can also, for example, use the rest of your money after you're done investing to basically invest into yourself and a skill. Whether it's at the nighttime, whether it's a trade, whether it's going back to school, or whatever it is. Do your research on it. Use the top 10 rule. The top 10 careers, write a research paper on all of them, and pick the one that makes the most sense financially, but I also enjoy also. This way, you have $2,200 right now, but I would rather you have $4,000 a month, and you can do that by basically increasing the level of your skills, right?
Okay.
Just for example, trademan. I think no, they're called linemen. Linemen are the people that basically, when you have storms, they go to the post lines for electricity and they fix it up. And they
Yes.
make around $100K per year.
Yeah.
Right. So my point is that there are a lot of jobs out there that are gonna make you a lot of money. But right now, honestly, I'm super happy because you are doing amazing. You're not in debt. You have 2 cars. You live a nice lifestyle. You have a great job. If you want to increase the level of skills you actually do, you can do that also. It's all up to you. Okay? Make sense? Yo, drop a 1 in the chat, guys, if you guys are actually able to hear me. I think okay, yeah. Give me a second here. Drop a 1 in the chat, guys, if you're able to hear me real quick. Just want to see. I think I froze or Alfonso froze. But overall, I do want to say, if you guys can hear me and everything's good, unless, because it's really hot here. I need an AC, guys, here. Okay, my machinery stuff gets very hot. Yeah. I think he froze. He froze, not me. Drop a, yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. But overall, Alfonso, man, he's doing amazing. Does he make the most money? The answer is no. But if you have money for emergencies, you have your money you're investing, use the rest of your money. You can invest that basically into a new skill to basically make you more money. To me, that's awesome. That is what you're supposed to be trying to do. All right, guys. So more questions. Drop a 1. Don't drop a 1 in the chat. If you want to join me in the Zoom, feel free to do so. The Zoom is open for everyone. Okay, everyone and their mama can just join me on Zoom whenever they want to. So go ahead and join me on Zoom if you actually want to. Give me a second here. And by the way, when you join Zoom, you don't got to show your face. Don't worry. So that's going to remain private. Okay. I've been listening. This is Andy Davergo. I've been listening to this live since over an hour ago while driving. Great material. Yo, shout out to you. Stay safe, because when we're talking about all this material, man, you can get distracted. So stay safe out there. Appreciate you a ton. Hey, Tommy, can you call me, bro? Yes, I can call you. So if you want me to call you, schedule a call right now in the Calendly link. Or for example, how do I share this link? Or just drop your phone number if you don't mind. But if you want to drop, I think everyone here in this live is pretty cool people. So you probably won't get finessed or people won't spam you. But yeah, if you want to drop your phone number, feel free to do so. But I'm gonna try to share a link for the appointments here also, guys. Okay, remember, guys. Okay, we are building this as we go. So I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and take a little break here for the next 4 minutes and share a link with you guys to actually get you guys started on everything. So if you want to join me on the Zoom, start coming in. Adding you to the Zoom. If you guys want to call me, I'll send a link so you guys can actually schedule the call right now so I can call you right away. So let's go on break time real quick, just for a few seconds. Don't freak out. How do you go on break again? Yeah, main, break, cuts. Let me see. All right, all right, all right. So we should be back. Okay, so we're back here. Give me a second. Let me turn these lights on, guys. We are back. We're back from our little 3-minute break. Can you imagine yourself working a job and your boss giving you 3 minutes to go on break? How mad would you be? Okay, how mad would you actually be? But again, guys, okay, my job is almost done here. I think I have a few more things to talk about when it comes to like the news and the updates on the current events when it comes to finance and money. So we're gonna talk about that. But again, if you guys have questions, comment down below. Let me know. I saw your chats on the chat saying, "Tommy, the music is too loud," so I adjusted the volume. So hopefully it actually lowered. So that's great. But overall, any more questions, guys? Comment them down below. That is what we're here for. Imagine, for example, people say, "Tommy, I don't have, the friends to actually help me out when it comes to my money and my finances. I don't know those people." Guys, there might be 12 people right here, right now in this live, but these are all 12 people that are looking for the same exact things that you're looking for. Meaning that they care about their finances, right? They want to improve. They want to learn to invest. So I recommend everyone, you got to be blowing up this chat. Like, yo, who are you? Who's this? Who's that? Right? Because you gotta get to know these people, because these people want the same thing you want. And all these people right here can basically help you. It's all about networking. This chat right here is not about entertainment, okay? I don't make entertainment content. I make value content, okay? Well, more like entertainment value content. You gotta be entertaining, the value and the content, all that stuff, okay? All right, so let's see some more questions. I see 2 more questions here before we get to the current news here. So let's answer those 2 questions right there, okay? The 2 questions are your Roth IRA and taxable account the same portfolio as M1 Finance? The answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, not just that, but my Roth IRA, my taxable accounts, and also my 401k accounts are exactly the same portfolio. The goal is not to switch everything around. The goal is to have the same exact portfolio that works and makes sense and is going to make you money. That is what we actually want, okay? That is what makes sense. So basically, I have my portfolio across the board. I invest into the same exact things across the board. The only difference is that basically my Roth saves me money. My 401k, well, not the Roth saves me money, but my 401k saves me money. They're just retirement accounts, but I'm still investing in these exact same things. That does not change. On top of that, we're seeing, for example, I sent a calendar. All right, let me see if we got I think we got a link for the calendar. Maybe we got like a meeting here. Yeah, so we got Andy here that just made a meeting. So I'm gonna go ahead and call Andy, guys. Let me see here, because I got one more question before I actually called. If you don't donate plasma and get compensated financially for it, do you have to report that to the? Yo, that's a crazy thing, man. So if you donate plasma and get compensated for it, do you have to? I don't know. It's a great question, right? I think yes. Because most likely you'll get paid like at the end of the year. They'll send you, for example, if you donate like a lot of blood, because the answer is right. If you just made like $100, nobody cares. But if you've been draining yourself out of all your blood, bro, and you've made like $10,000, impossible. That year you will pay taxes on it. Like they will send you a letter and like a report saying like, hey, you made this much money, you got to pay this much taxes and so on. So the answer is yes. Okay. I see another question here. Alexis Perez, okay. When do you recommend opening a custodial Roth IRA for your child? Okay, I want to break this down, okay, because people tend to forget this. 99%, and by the way, after this, I'll give you guys a call, so don't worry, I haven't forgotten. But 99% of all of you watching this right now, your parents never saved for your college, never saved for no Roth IRA, no custodial account. They gave you nothing, okay? Now, all of us now that, for example, we're more financially savvy, we want to do what nobody did for us, for our kids and all this stuff. We want to change the world, basically. We want to have our kids have everything. Remember, right? Adversity, challenges in your life made you the person you are right now. The first thing is, okay, when I say invest 10, 15, 20%, I always say just invest 5% into a 529 account for your kids. A 529 account is just for education. Jimmy, Timmy, Billy, Mandy, you use this money just to go to school. That's it, okay? I'm not giving you money for anything else, right? Just 5%. Tell me, why not more? Because the priority here is you. You are the priority. So you invest 15% for yourself, maybe 20%, just 5% for your kids, because you are the priority. Because in reality, guess what? There is a free way, well, not a free way, a debt-free way for your kids to go to school. And on top of that also, if you're building this whole like idea of, I want to make sure that when I pass away, my adult child is taken care of, you are raising the wrong types of kids. You're raising kids. You have to raise good adults for the future. That's what you're raising, right? Not properly behaved little kids. You're raising adults for the future. So my whole goal is that when I have kids, I want to make sure that my kids don't need me or my money whatsoever. That's what you want. If you have, for example, a life insurance policy, that's fine. They get a percentage of that, okay? That's fine. But as far as, for example, me building an inheritance for them, no. They have their 529 account, help with college, but that's about it, okay? Focus on building your wealth. Focus on paying off your home early. And then, if once you're done paying off your house, you're also done investing, you keep investing 50% for yourself, and then you can go basically ahead and, hey, I'm going to invest a little bit more money for my kids or whatever. That's my answer when it comes to kids. I'm seeing more questions here, but I'm going to go ahead and make this call, guys, because we're almost out of time, and Andy has been asking me to call him. So I don't think we're going to have time for the current news today. Shout out to everyone that's right now in the live. We got 16 viewers. Go ahead and smash the like button, guys. Appreciate it a ton. Let's get that engagement all the way up for the YouTube algorithm. You guys know the vibes. You guys are experts on YouTube, so it helps a lot. So smash the like button. Now, let's go ahead and make this call and call Andy here. By the way, if you guys want me to call me, make a link, make a schedule on the Calendly link. I'll call you directly to your phone number. And yes, your number is going to remain private, so don't worry about that, okay? Your number is not going to be leaked to the government or anything like that. That's funny. But yeah, let's go ahead and call Andy. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear Andy. Not right now, though. Just give me a second. Let me actually click dial. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can actually hear him. All right, so I'm calling. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear this. What is good? What is good?
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? This is Andy?
Yeah, what's going on, Tommy?
What's going on,
Long
Andy?
time listening, bro.
Awesome,
First
awesome.
off, I just want to say thank you for calling, man. Appreciate your content. Appreciate you as a person. Appreciate all the information you give. All the
Appreciate
uninformed
you, brother.
people out there, man. Yeah, no
Appreciate
doubt,
you.
bro.
So before we get started, Andy, though, right? I do want you to know this call is being recorded and it's also live. Are you okay with that?
Oh, perfectly fine, man. I'm watching right now, so it's all
All
good.
right. Awesome, awesome. So how can I help?
Yeah, man. Basically, I've been at this job for about maybe 2.5 years now,
Okay.
and I have yet to actually follow through and engage in any offers I've been getting from the job as far as actually, I forget the exact name, but as far as investing in the 401k
Okay,
offered
okay.
from the job, right?
Okay.
I paid off a massive amount of debt
How
the
much?
past year, right? Man, it was a student loan, probably around, I don't know, 15,000 or something like that.
Congratulations. That's
Took me a
awesome.
while. Thank you, bro. Yeah,
Congratulations.
appreciate
That's awesome.
that. I paid that off like last year. I'm currently paying off some additional debt, not a whole lot. Luckily, I got a lot of money left over in my savings, so I could, pay that off and then rebuild it back up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, as soon as I do that though, my whole plan was to try to invest and get into that whole 401k thing that you
Okay.
talk a lot. You talk a lot about, and you said it's a good idea. But me personally, I have like a lot of expenses. Like, well, not a lot to be honest, but I have a few expenses I'm trying to take care of at the moment.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of like just a little hesitant about really diving right into it.
How much
Like,
income do you
what would
make
you assume?
per month net?
You mean just check wise? Like, I mean, after or before taxes?
Net. So how much do you actually get in the paycheck?
Oh, okay,
after
okay.
taxes per month?
Man, I don't know, like maybe 2,200 a month.
Okay, so $2,200 a month, and you paid
Yeah,
off $15,000 in debt, right? So that's
yeah.
awesome. So that's crazy that you actually did that in 1 year. So okay,
No, I didn't
so
do it in a year, bro. That took a while, man, because I've mainly worked in call centers and a couple of um different businesses over the past couple of years, and it just took a long time to pay off.
okay, that's
But
fine.
I was in a pretty good situation last year, and I took care of it, thank God. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. Continue.
Now the main thing is, right, Andy, you're making the switch from defense to offense, and that switch
Right.
sometimes is hard. So right now, right, the only debt you have was the student loan debt. So right now you have no other debt whatsoever: credit card debt, car notes, personal loan.
No, I mean I have a credit card, but I just mainly use that to boost my credit.
Okay,
But it's
so
it's very minimal. I pay everything before.
all right, so let me tell you exactly the best way to use a credit card to build credit but never go into debt, right? You want to use the one bill method, meaning you put Netflix, iTunes, Apple Music on it, whatever it is, and put the credit card on auto pay, and then just cut the credit card. That way you have a payment being registered every single month. The balance stays low, so you build credit over time, but you don't go into debt because you're never actually using it for anything else. So if I were you, if I woke up today, Andy, and I were you, I had this job for the past 2.5 years. I paid off a bunch of student loan debt. I make $2,200 a month, and now I want to get into the transition into. By the way, how much cash do you have?
You mean as far as like savings?
Yeah, cash right now.
Um, I don't know, man. Almost close to 20K right now in savings.
You have $20,000 in savings.
Yeah.
How is that? So this whole time when you were paying the student loan debt off, you were still saving money.
Yeah. Like I said, it took a while. I
That's
took
why
out
it
the
took
debt
a while.
initially. Yeah. I
Yeah.
initially had went to school in 2010 for a program. I finished it. Went in for another program and finished that one. So, how it is, you're slowly paying off debt, then you add on more debt to it.
Yeah.
Um, so, it took a while, man. It took a long time to pay off, but I finally did it.
All
And
right. All right. So Andy, so this won't be you again, but if you have a friend, for example, and they ask you the same question, that were in your shoes, you tell them, hey, pay off the debt first, and then you focus on saving later, because that was causing you a bunch of interest, right? So the overall
right.
thing is, if I woke up today and I had $20,000 in savings, what would I do? And I'm basically fully debt free, and I have a nice job. The first thing is I am going to get a budget to have control over my expenses. Now the thing is, you tell me I have expenses to take care of. Most likely, you're a pretty frugal guy. I can tell by your results here. You have a lot of savings. You paid off debt, so you're probably very, very frugal. But you want to have a budget that's on paper so that we can keep track of everything. The main four expenses are shelter, utilities, groceries, transportation. Everything else is going to be a want. Everything else you want to cut out. So with all of my extra money, so I have $20,000 here, I'm going to save 6 months worth of emergencies in this case. 6 months worth, or 3 months, however you want it. I have that 6 months in a separate account, so that way I'm not tempted to actually use it. So that way I'm good, I'm solid. If I lose my job or anything crazy happens, okay, bang. Now I'm going to start investing between 10 to 20% of my monthly income. You get paid bi-weekly or weekly or monthly?
It's biweekly.
Okay. So when I say you invest in 10, 20%, I don't mean at the end of the month. I mean every time you get paid. I don't want you to tickle the money, have it in your pocket, maybe spend some. No, every time you get paid, automatically have that money being invested. That way you don't have to think about it so much. So this means if my company has a 401k, I want to find out, do they also have, for example, a match for my 401k? Meaning that's free money. Meaning if I invest X, they will invest X on my behalf and basically give me that free money. Why? Because that way they also save money on taxes. So it helps them, but it also helps me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the reason you might be, for example, so concerned about investing is maybe because you just don't know that much about investing. So if you invest the way I invest, you're basically investing into the whole U.S. economy, the international economy, the real estate economy, the small market economy, the corporate treasury bonds, basically investing in the whole economic system. So the idea is that the only way that you basically lose everything is if we have, for example, World War III and America ends or something crazy, crazy happens. The likelihood of it happening is very low. And by that point, if that does happen, the dollar will crash, and guess what? Your savings or your money don't matter. So it's just better to have your money being invested. So you have, for example, you're getting the max match with your company's 401k. So if they tell you, hey, you got to invest 5% to get the max, you say, okay, automatically take that money from my check, so that's taken care of. But if you're going to be investing, for example, a total of 20%, grab the other 15%, or if you do 10%, the other 5% or 10%. You grab that money and you put it, for example, into your Roth IRA. If you want to copy my exact portfolio, there's an M1 Finance link. The main idea behind a 401k and a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and Roth 401k are this. The traditional IRA, the 401k, are pre-tax accounts, meaning whatever you invest, you get to deduct from your taxes, which basically saves you money on taxes. The post-tax accounts are basically saying you invest your after-tax income, which means you get no tax benefit today, but when you take that money out tomorrow in the future, it grows fully tax-free, but you don't owe any tax on it whatsoever because you never took a tax incentive from it, basically. So if the company offers a Roth 401k, I would do that because, listen here, Andy. If you have $1 million in a 401k or $1 million in a Roth 401k, it's very different because in the 401k, you have, for example, mandatory distributions when you turn like I think 57 or like I think maybe 70. So you have to take money out mandatorily. But more importantly, they'll tax you on that money. So $1 million in a 401k or traditional IRA is more like 700 to 800k. But $1 million in a Roth IRA or Roth 401k is $1 million. It is fully yours because you don't get taxed on it whatsoever because you never took a tax benefit initially. So this is very important. So you're investing 10, 20%. How old are you, by the way, Andy?
I'm actually 34 right now.
Okay, so you're 30. Congratulations. So you're pretty young. So you're 34 years old. So now if I'm investing 10, 20% into my retirement accounts, then with the rest of my money, and you should have extra money, I'm going to grab that extra money and start saving it up towards a home, a down payment, right? From a home that I actually want to buy. Now this means when I buy this home, what are the rules, Tommy? Because I don't just want to buy any home and then just go into crazy debt. The rules are the property I buy cannot cost me more than 33% of my monthly income on a 15-year mortgage. That means the mortgage, maintenance, taxes, PMI insurance, HOA fee, all this stuff cannot exceed a third basically of my income per month on a 15-year mortgage. Now this means, for example, you're going to pay this off as fast as possible because you'll have that mortgage there, so part of your expenses, of course, but now you should also have, for example, extra income while you're done investing at the same time. So meaning that extra income, you put it towards the home, you're finished with it a lot faster. Usually, if you're putting aside like 10, 20%, if you do the math correctly, you should be done in 8 to 10 years potentially. So now you're 34. Let's just say, for example, by 44 to 47 years old, you have a paid-for home, a fully funded emergency account, a good chunk of money in your investment accounts, and on top of that, you have the same amount of income usually, maybe even more income coming in, but guess what? Over a third of your income doesn't go to shelter anymore because your home is paid off. Meaning you can use that third of your income to buy the fancy car you want that you've been procrastinating on, to go on vacation whenever you want, to do whatever you basically want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. Actually, that's kind of been an issue of mine. I have enough money to actually buy a car I want right now.
Don't
But
do it.
yeah,
Because what you have is money. You're not rich, right? Because
right.
the wealth in a man is not measured by the amount of money he has, but by the amount of income he's able to actually acquire in passive income. Because if you spend this $20,000 on a car or whatever you want, you will not get this money back. It does not come back. It depreciates with this heckin' car. What I want you to do is work. You have a car now, right?
Yeah.
I have a car too. It's 7 years old. You ride it until the wheels come off, until you're done with this plan. By 44, you're fully done. If you want to make it even faster, you get another job or increase your skills, and that way you're done even faster. But by that point, my point is, you're 44 years old. The average person retires, for example, at age 65 with no money. you'll be fully done by that point. You're investing that 10% into your investment account. You have a paid for home. You have a bunch of extra money. If you want to buy a new car, I don't care about depreciation by that point, because basically you can afford to have that money burn and go into flames. By that point, it makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like I said, that's kind of been where my head's been right now. Like I said, I really want to get this new car because the car I have right now, off and on, would have issues. But I was like, I think I would definitely
What
want
car
to
do you
invest in a
drive?
house first. Right now, I have a shit. Well, I have one car I'm using at the moment. It's a Kia. The other one I had was an old Honda from like, I don't know, 2004.
How long did the Honda last you?
Shit. Sorry about that. Maybe around like 9 years.
Awesome. So look, if your car, I'm not a big fan of Kias. They're fine, although my dream car is a Kia Stinger. But I like Hondas, Toyotas, and Mazdas. They have great reliability records. Not according to me, but according to statistics. So if you want to buy, for example, a nicer car, I bought a Toyota Prius 2014, backup camera. It's a nice car, saves money on fuel. It cost me $9,000 here in Puerto Rico, but it can cost you over there in the U.S. around maybe like $6,000 to $5,000. So if you want to grab out of that $20,000 and buy a $5,000 car that's more reliable, doesn't give you problems, right? That's fine. But again, your priority is going to be, for example, on building this wealth. But I don't mind if you spend that $5,000 to get a reliable car. But that's once you have the emergency account and once you start basically investing that 10-20%. And you can do that all today. And then tomorrow you sell the Kia and you buy a good, reliable car. Now, you said your income is $2,200, right?
Yeah, that's what I get after taxes for the month.
Okay. So that means don't spend more than if I were you, again, this is my rule. I wouldn't spend more than $10,000 on this car. And that's a very nice car. If your budget is $10,000, that's a very nice car. If you're like me, and you're kind of very crazy, then don't spend more than $5,000 on a car. And you get a decent car that keeps you running. And remember, right, a car is machinery. Machinery wears out. Machinery is usually more expensive to replace than it is to maintain. So make sure you're maintaining these cars correctly. Invest in maintenance because it'll be cheaper than buying something again. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely, man. I've been looking into possibly getting a used car, just to kind of save up some money for now. But I'm trying to make sure I don't get a clunker. You know what I'm saying?
You don't get a what?
But I said I'm trying to make sure I don't get a clunker. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a car that's working now and 2 months later, you know what I'm saying? You're stuck with it. No, I'm not, but my cousin is. So.
Okay, so what you do is, you, your cousin, and a verified mechanic also. Before I bought my car, am I a mechanic? No. But I took my car to the mechanic and I did a whole body check. Hey, how's the transmission? How's the oil? How's the engine? How's everything in this car? After 3 hours, it told me everything. They were like, hey, Tommy, everything is fine. You just got to do the wheels, the brakes, everything's fine, though. I bought the car then. But you get the car checked out. It's machinery. You can check it out by a professional. Make sure it is solid. That's the idea. You don't just buy and hope in this whole car industry thing. No, you get it fully checked out. That's what you do. So have confidence in what you're doing. If you do things correctly, there's no need not to be confident, right? You check the car first, do the research. What's the most reliable car? Most likely Toyota Corolla, Camry, Avalon, maybe Mazda. You buy a good, decent car. Honda, if you want like an SUV, yeah, buy a nice car. Do the research, okay? And then you take it to a mechanic. Hey, here's this car. Is it good? If they say no, don't buy it. Buy a good car and be patient. That's all it is. But they'll check it out for you. Don't overthink it. Once you have the answers and you check things out correctly, you're good. Make sense?
Definitely, bro. Thank you. You cleared up a lot of stuff for me today.
All right, brother. Glad I could help, man. And welcome to the long-term team, man. I appreciate you a ton. And thank you for joining the live, man. You can come on. You're welcome every single time, all right? Any more questions?
Hey. No, that's it for now. I made my mind paying off that debt right now, and I'm just start engaging and saving money until I can go back into getting into that 401k next year. Thank you again, bro.
You get into that 401k this year, bro. Stop procrastinating. Stop the BS. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that right now. Like my job, it kind of offers it to you, like
well, do
every.
the Roth. Do the Roth.
I have to look more into that and see which one that they're offering right now. But
No, the Roth is you. The Roth is you individually. The Roth is individual. IRAs are individual retirement accounts. The 401k are the job things.
Oh,
But the
okay.
Roth are individuals. Just look up Tommy Bryson Roth, Tommy Bryson Invest. You'll find it. Do the research like you're about to do research on a car that's a liability. Invest in yourself. You're 34 years old now. In 10 years from now, you could have $100,000 invested, or you could have nothing. So
True.
decide. All right.
Hey, we'll do, bro. Thank you again, man.
All right. Peace out.
All
All right, guys. So that right there was Andy. Shout out to Andy, guys. Guys. I just want to say thank you for joining the live. You know, drop a 1 in the chat if I should continue, because I still have current events, but I think we're gonna have to leave the current events for tomorrow, man. If we have, I'll continue, not with the current events. That's gonna be tomorrow. But if you have, can you do a live example of the 33% rule? Give me a second. If you guys want to join me on the Zoom, I'll stick around for one more call. So if you want to join me on the Zoom, join on the Zoom right now. If you guys want to join me on the Zoom, or yeah. Thank you again, Tommy. God bless you, brother. Appreciate you, Andy. Shout out to you, Andy. You've done great so far. Confidence comes from understanding. So have that. If anybody wants to join the Zoom, let me know. But we are officially done for today, guys. Okay. Actually, I have 4 more minutes. So I have 4 more minutes because we're done at 6 p.m. So it is 5:57. So let's do this all the way. Okay. There's a 1 in the chat. I'll continue. So. All right, so here is a question by Jerry Freeman. It's a great name, Jerry. Great name. Can you do a live example of the 33% rule when it comes to real estate? By the way, guys, this shirt is not like this. Look, I'm sweating everywhere. I don't have an AC here, guys. Okay, this is hard work. This is my job. Headphones off. Tell me, what is the 33% rule and why do you use it? It's simple, okay? It means if you the most expensive thing you're going to have is going to be, for example, shelter. Whether it's a property that you actually own, real estate, a mortgage, or whether it's rent. Usually going to be very expensive. But if you limit yourself just to a third of your income, it frees up a lot of other more income to do the things you need to do, like saving money, paying off debt, and actually investing. Now, it works like this. If you want to buy a property, and you make, let's say, for example, $4,000 per month. You multiply this number by 0.33. That stands for 33% rule, okay? That gives you a budget of $1,320. Now, the key is you got to find a property that's no more than this on a 15-year mortgage, but also include the insurance, HOA fee, taxes, PMI, potentially maintenance. Now, there is one way to get around maintenance. And the answer is, by the way, maintenance means, hey, you should have at least 2% of the property value there for maintenance in case anything goes wrong. That we can take care of it. That's what I mean by maintenance. But if you have that money on the side also, you can just eliminate maintenance. So meaning, this right here is my budget. That's it. I bought the property. I don't spend more than this. Now, what does this mean exactly? If I am, for example, if I start at 100% of my income, right? And I only spend 70% of it on my expenses, like my mortgage, my utilities, my grocery, transportation, all the bills basically. I have 30%. So meaning, I can go ahead and invest, let's just say 15%. I have left 15%, right? I can use this 15% to basically go ahead and pay extra towards the mortgage. That way, I'm not done in 15 years. That way, I'm done, for example, in 8 to 10 years. Now, 10 years later, I have been investing, so I have a lot of money there also. But I also have, for example, a paid-for home, which basically means now, when I get paid this $4,000, guess what? Taxes is just like $200 per month. Insurance is just like $100 per month. Meaning, guess what? I have $3,700 for everything else. Meaning, for example, what's 300 divided by 4,000? 4,000, meaning, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Those numbers are crazy. Meaning, I'm only spending around 7.5% to 10% of my income on my housing costs. Meaning, I almost have an extra 23% of my money, even more potentially, to do whatever I want with it. Meaning, hey, if I have $4,000 in income, guys, that's a lot. But $4,000 in income, and I can grab 0.23 to do whatever I want with it, that's $920 a month to do whatever I want. If I want to save in 1 year to buy me a new car, that's $11K towards savings to buy that car. If I want to go on vacation, that's $11K for vacation. If I want to buy whatever the fudge I want to buy, I can buy it because basically I can afford it. That's the idea, guys, okay? It gets me so motivated. Awesome. But guys, you know, I'm so sorry. I think I managed this live incorrectly. I had so much fun talking to you guys that basically I forget to talk about the current events. But yeah, guys, we are officially out of time. If you guys were ever curious, tell me, what do you do after the live? Well, in reality, 5 a.m. I wake up, I go to the gym, then I come back home, I work. Then I basically, once I do the live, after I'm done working, then I just go back to the gym. So I go to the gym twice, and then I go to sleep. So if you guys are done here, come to the gym with me, guys, okay? So send me like a DM on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. Let me know, yo, I was in the live, now I'm in the gym, okay? It's not just about wealth. It's also about health and also getting an AC in your room so you're not this sweaty. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining me again, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure. Long-term team for the win all the way. I see your questions here. I see here by Clifford, why pay off the mortgage in 15 years? We can do it in 30 years because basically it's not the tax stuff, man. Stop playing that game. I can't do it today. I can't do it today, okay? But Clifford, join me tomorrow or schedule a call for tomorrow's live and I'll give you a call directly because this stuff is very important. So I'll join you tomorrow on the next call. As always, welcome to the long-term team. I love you guys and see you next time. Peace out.